My name is Avery Callow, and I'm 31 years old. Thanksgiving tasted like cold stuffing and warm humiliation. The table glittered, candles and cut glass, a turkey lacquered to photo shoot shine, when my older sister Natalie rose with the smile she saves for cameras and committees. Before we carve the turkey, she said, projecting to the far end where Uncle Mitch pretends he can't hear, there's something we need to say. Forks hovered midair. I felt it before she spoke, the way you can feel a storm cross your scalp. We had a family vote, Natalie announced, chin lifted like she was waiting for a sash, and we've decided you're not family anymore. Silence. Then a crack of applause. Cousin Laura clapped like she was at a concert. Uncle Mitch lifted his wine. My mother laughed. Well, someone had to say it. Dad didn't look at me. He took a long swallow of beer and muttered, "It's probably for the best." I stared at my plate. The cranberry sauce wobbled every time my pulse hit. I pushed my chair back, slow enough to make the legs sigh against the floor. "You actually rehearsed this," I said, and my voice sounded like it belonged to someone else. Low, even. Untouchable. Natalie's smile sharpened. "You've been toxic for years. We're done pretending." "You're not family," my mother added, reaching past me for the bowl like we were discussing the weather. "It's unanimous." No one spoke up, not one person. "Good," I said softly. I figured this might happen. I reached into my bag, pulled out a thick tabbed folder, and set it in the center of the table. The thunk cut through the laughter. Natalie blinked. "What is that?" "Why don't you find out?" She snatched it, already smirking, already winning in her head. She flipped the first page, and her mouth fell open. She flipped the next. Color left her face. Then she screamed, a high, clean, horror movie rip of sound that sent a chair clattering to the floor. "You monster!" she gasped. "You twisted—" Joel, her husband, the human equivalent of a LinkedIn headline, grabbed the folder. His eyes tracked down a page, then another. "Is this?" "It's all real," I said. "Every word, every receipt, every screenshot." The room went dead silent. Somewhere in the kitchen, a fork clinked. Mom opened and closed her mouth like she'd swallowed a lie that wouldn't go down. "You kept records?" "You never remembered," I said. "Someone had to." "What they saw. Bank transfers, dates, amounts, 5 years, 78,000 plus, moved from me to them. $8,000 for Joel's rehab. $2,300 for Natalie's emergency dental, elective veneers. $900 for Dad's back surgery. $12,000 for Mom's credit card debt. $6,000 for Laura's college move-in. $4,500 for a so-called family emergency that was actually Cabo. Screenshots of messages where I was the cash cow with no spine, their words in private threads they didn't know I could see. A timeline of how help turned into expectation, into demand, into vote her out when I finally said no. Joel stopped on a page and went still. $4,200, he read. "Santa Monica. Alyssa?" He looked at Natalie. "What is this?" "Don't start," she snapped. "Why were you at a hotel for 3 nights on my card?" Her silence throbbed. Dad cleared his throat. "You're making this bigger than it is." "No," I said, standing. "You are smalling what you've done." Natalie slammed the folder shut. "You're pathetic. Printing screenshots? You think this makes you the victim? You chose to help." "And you chose to expect it," I replied. "Until it wasn't help anymore. It was duty. Assigned to me, because I'm unmarried, no kids, nothing better to do. You didn't want a sister. You wanted a wallet with legs." Mom's voice softened to the tone she uses on telemarketers. "Listen, honey, we may have overreacted, but this is still family. Let's put this behind us." "You just held a vote to eject me," I said. "You clapped." Natalie laughed without humor. "You're just bitter no one needs you." "Wrong," I said. "I'm not bitter. I'm done." From my coat, I took a second envelope and slid it across. Joel caught it. His face changed as he read. "Power of attorney, revoked. Medical proxy, revoked. Emergency contact, removed." Mom's breath hitched. "You're cutting ties completely?" "Completely," I said, "starting now." "You're being selfish," she whispered, eyes shining. I met her gaze, calm, final. "No, I'm being clear." I put on my coat. The room smelled like time and panic. Around the table, truth sat like broken glass, catching candlelight. The folder, Joel's widening distance from Natalie, Dad's refusal to meet my eyes, Laura curling around her guilt like it could keep her warm. At the doorway, I paused. "You were so sure I'd stay the quiet one," I said. "The doormat, the cash cow. But your little show, it's over." I stepped into the cold and let the door hush itself shut behind me. The night air hit my face like a baptism. I didn't drive home. I went to the lake where Dad used to take me fishing, parked by the still water, and listened. Nothing pulled at me. No Venmo buzzed at 11 p.m. No guilt crawled under my skin. No one was waiting for a check, a ride, a favor. Just breath, fogging the glass. Just the sound of a world that would keep turning whether I paid for it or not. If you want to know what was in the folder, how each line item became a brick in a wall I finally stopped holding up, start years before the turkey and the cheer. Because Natalie didn't wake up and decide I wasn't family. They built that decision, comment by comment, ask by ask, betrayal by betrayal, until the vote was just paperwork. And I kept the receipts. When people say betrayal hits hard, they picture one grand explosion. But in my case, it was 1,000 quiet withdrawals. Small, polite thefts disguised as thank yous. It started years ago, in my 20s. I was the one who left home early, worked through college, built a career without backup. Natalie, the golden girl, switched majors twice before dropping out to find herself in Europe. When she came back, she had a husband, Joel, the LinkedIn resume come to life, and a wedding my parents couldn't afford. So I paid for half. They thanked me between bites of cake. Mom even toasted, "We're so proud of how successful our little Avery is. She takes care of all of us." Everyone clapped. I smiled, even as my stomach turned. That was the first time I became a line item in their story. At first, it felt good to help. It made me feel useful, visible. When Dad needed $1,500 for a back procedure, I wired it before he even finished explaining. When Mom said the credit card bill was overwhelming, I paid $12,000 to clear it. Then came the smaller things. Laura's scholarship delay, Joel's rehab after stress-related dependency, Natalie's emergency dental work, later revealed to be cosmetic veneers. Every time they said, "You're amazing," and every time I told myself, "It's family." But family became a leash. The jokes started next. "Oh, you brought wine? Must be nice to afford the good stuff." "Of course you're early. You don't have kids to worry about." "Wish I could work late every night and avoid my husband too." The laughter was loudest from the ones I was helping. It got uglier. "You're so cold. Maybe that's why you're still alone. You don't understand real stress. You don't have a real life." Lucas, my boyfriend, noticed before I did. "They treat you like a bank," he said once, as I sent yet another temporary loan. "They'll pay me back," I insisted. He looked at me for a long moment, quiet. "You don't actually believe that." I ignored him, until the text that changed everything. "Natalie, hey, can you co-sign for a small business loan? Joel and I want to open a wellness cafe." Me, "No." Natalie, "Wow, really?" That was 3 months before Thanksgiving. The silence after that no was deafening. Mom stopped calling. Dad's texts became one-word grunts. Natalie blocked me on social media, then posted a story about cutting out toxic people. I didn't fight it. I got busy, quietly busy. You see, I'm meticulous by nature. Numbers calm me. Facts don't gaslight you. So I pulled receipts, literal receipts, transfers, statements, emails, screenshots. Every single time they reached into my life under the word family. Over 5 years, the total came to $78,000. I organized it by category: medical, travel, loans never repaid, manipulations, and messages. There were even posts mocking me. Natalie calling me the cash cow with no spine in a private thread. I printed everything, labeled each section, and tucked it into that folder. Not out of revenge, out of insurance. Because deep down, I knew, sooner or later, they'd turn on me. At Thanksgiving, I just hadn't expected it to be so literal. Joel was still flipping through the pages when he hit the line that broke everything open. Hotel Santa Monica, 3 nights. Guest, Alyssa, paid with Joel's card. His voice was quiet, dangerous. "What is this, Natalie?" She froze. "You're misreading." "Who's Alyssa?" "Don't start this here," she hissed. Her silence spoke louder than her words ever could. Mom tried to regain control, smoothing her napkin like that would iron the chaos. "Let's just calm down and be reasonable." "Sure," I said. "Let's talk about the time you called me a parasite while cashing the check I sent you." She blinked fast. "That's not fair. We were under stress." "No," I said. "You were under stress. I bailed you out, every single time." Dad finally spoke, low and tired. "You're making this into something bigger than it is." I turned to him, voice steady. "You let them do this to me for years. You saw it, heard it, let it happen. Because silence was easier than standing up to them. He didn't deny it. Natalie slammed her palm on the table. You're just bitter because no one needs you anymore. Wrong, I said. I'm not bitter. I'm done. Joel stood, still holding the folder. Is this true? He asked Natalie, voice like gravel. All of it? For once, she didn't perform. She didn't cry. She didn't fake confusion. She just stared at me, jaw trembling. You lied to me, Joel said, about the money, about the hotel, about her. I had to, she snapped. She was turning everyone against me. I wasn't, I said quietly. You did that all by yourself. The silence that followed was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. Mom tried again, soft and sweet. Listen, honey, we overreacted, but we're still family. I met her eyes. No, you were family, past tense. I left them in that glowing dining room, surrounded by untouched pie and ugly truths. When I stepped outside, the air was cold enough to bite. I didn't cry. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt clean. For the first time in years, I wasn't holding their weight. The sound of laughter still echoed faintly behind the door, forced, nervous, but that was their noise, not mine. Mine was the crunch of gravel beneath my boots, the hum of freedom, the whisper of something new, peace that didn't have to be earned. The peace that starts when you finally stop apologizing for not being used. The morning after Thanksgiving, the quiet felt strange. No phone buzzing, no emergency texts, no guilt disguised as affection. Just silence, and the smell of leftover coffee I'd actually brewed for myself. Then came the first wave. 14 missed calls, 3 voicemails, 1 long message from Mom. We were angry, but we're still your family. You don't mean what you said. I deleted them all. By Monday, they'd gone from guilt to strategy. Natalie posted, some people think cutting family off makes them strong. It just makes them lonely. Dad texted, you went too far. Be the bigger person. Mom wrote, your father's blood pressure is high. Are you proud? Their words no longer landed. They just slid off. That week, I drove downtown and met with my attorney. Her name was Karen Holt, calm and crisp, like someone who could make chaos sign paperwork. I want to finalize this, I told her. She raised an eyebrow. Finalize what? Every tie they can legally pull. She nodded once. We can revoke power of attorney, medical proxy, and financial access. I'll need signatures. I signed them all that afternoon. No shaking hands, no guilt, just ink. When I walked out of that office, the air felt different, like oxygen had finally remembered my name. Lucas came over that evening, carrying takeout. You okay? He asked. I think so. He watched me for a second, like he was taking inventory of the damage. They won't stop. People like that don't respect silence. They only respect doors that lock. I've changed the locks, I said, on everything. He smiled, proud but tired. I'm glad. You deserve peace. Lucas had been my quiet anchor through all of it. Even when his ex, Tessa, posted thinly veiled jabs online about women who can't let go of control, he didn't rise to it. He just deleted her and moved on. No drama, no explanations. It made me realize something. Some people love to be chased. Others love to be free. 2 weeks later, Joel emailed me. Subject line, you were right. He'd filed for divorce. Everything in that folder checked out. Natalie had lied about debts, money, even his job loss. He ended the email with one line that stuck in my throat. You did the right thing. I should have left sooner. Not long after, a message popped up from Laura, my cousin, the one who clapped when they voted me out. I didn't know you paid my tuition. I'm sorry. I followed the crowd. You were the only one who ever actually helped. I didn't reply, but I read it twice. Nights grew quieter. I started sleeping through the night. No nightmares of family dinners gone sour. I woke up early, brewed coffee slowly, made breakfast in silence that didn't sting anymore. Therapy helped. Not the fix everyone kind. The kind that teaches you it's okay to walk away even if they're still shouting your name. When I told my therapist what happened, she said, you weren't cruel. You were clear. I carried that sentence home like a small flame. 3 weeks later, Dad left a voicemail. Your mother is sick with worry. You made your point. Enough is enough. We need to talk. Then Mom again. You can't just erase us. I didn't answer, but one night, curiosity pulled me to my phone. Their messages weren't about love or loss. They were about access, bank accounts, property, leverage. It hit me like a cold wave. They didn't miss me. They missed what I provided. I froze every joint account, closed every line of credit, changed passwords, set my phone to Do Not Disturb for anyone with my maiden name. The world didn't end. In fact, it began. I started volunteering at a community center on weekends. Not because someone guilted me into it, but because I wanted to. I met people who said thank you and meant it. Lucas would drive me home after shifts, rolling the window down, letting the winter air sting our faces. "You look lighter," he said one night. "I am," I answered. They always said I was cold. Turns out I was just freezing from carrying everyone else's fire. The last time I checked my family's group chat before I left it for good, the only message was from Mom. "When you're ready to be part of this family again, our door is open." I almost laughed, because for once I realized that door had always swung only one way. And this time I was the one who locked it. The peace lasted 3 full weeks, longer than I expected. Then December arrived, and so did the next phase of their game. Guilt in wrapping paper. On December 22nd, a text from Mom lit up my phone. It was a photo of their living room, tree half decorated, stockings hanging in perfect symmetry, and right in the center, an empty space where the gifts used to be piled. Her caption read, "It doesn't feel the same without you. Ellie keeps asking why Aunt Avery isn't coming this year." No apology, no ownership, just the same old undertone. "Look what you've done. Look who you're hurting." I didn't reply. The next day, Natalie tried calling. I let it ring out. Then a message followed. "I know I messed up, but you don't have to punish everyone. Just come by for Ellie. She misses you. Also, Mom and Dad are behind on their mortgage. I know you don't care anymore, but the bank called today. Thought you'd want to know." There it was, the ask. Always hidden inside guilt, wrapped in fake softness, topped with a bow that read family. I blocked the number. December 24th, another text, this time from Dad. "You made your point. We get it. But enough is enough. We need help. We're still your blood." I sat by my fireplace that night, a single glass of wine in hand, watching the flames curl and spit. My apartment was small but peaceful. No arguments, no tension, no one waiting for me to rescue them. They always said silence would destroy me. Turns out it healed me. January brought one more surprise. A call from a number I didn't recognize. "Is this Avery Callow?" a man's voice asked. "Yes. Who's calling?" "My name's Mark. I'm calling on behalf of your father. He mentioned you're the primary executor of the family trust?" I frowned. "I revoked that 2 months ago. It's finalized." A pause. "He said he couldn't reach you and asked me to explore alternative options." Of course he did. When manipulation fails, delegation begins. "I'm not interested," I said, and hung up. The next sound was laughter. Mine. Quiet. A little wild, but real. Because for once they couldn't touch me. Not legally, not emotionally, not financially. Then February arrived, and so did the letter. Handwritten, no return address. But I knew Mom's cursive like I knew my own. 3 pages. The first was regret. "We said things in anger. You've always been the strong one. We never realized how much we leaned on you." The second was guilt. "Your father's health isn't good. Natalie's completely alone now. Ellie's struggling." And the third, the hook, "We're selling the house, but we're underwater on the mortgage. Just a little help to get through this, then we'll never ask again. Please, Avery, do it for your father. Do it for the family." I sat at the table and read it twice. Let myself feel what they wanted me to feel. Responsibility, sorrow, nostalgia. Then I folded it, walked to the kitchen, and dropped it into the trash. Because I finally understood. They weren't asking for help. They were asking for access. They didn't want me back. They wanted the version of me who didn't say no. After that, I stopped waiting for closure. I realized closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. I got a new job in a new city, packed my life into 6 boxes and a half tank of gas. Lucas came with me, steady, loyal, quiet. We rented a small place near the coast. Mornings smelled like coffee and salt. Nights felt clean. No guilt, no noise, just us. I started volunteering again, not because someone needed me to, but because I wanted to. I rebuilt my life, one boundary at a time. And for the first time, I wasn't surviving. I was living. Months later, another letter came, short this time. 3 words in Mom's handwriting. "We're still family." No apology, no change, just the same bait. Duller now, but familiar. I looked at it for a long time. Then, for the first time, I didn't feel anything. No anger, no sadness, just nothing. I threw it away, made dinner, and opened the window to let the ocean air in. That's when it hit me. This stillness, this quiet. It wasn't loneliness. It was freedom. And freedom, I learned, isn't loud. It's the sound of a door closing softly behind you, and you realizing you don't owe anyone an explanation for walking away.